We'll just start with me being paralyzed in a hospital bed.
Wow.
Got diagnosed with epilepsy, ended up paralyzed all along the left side of my body. And it was really difficult for me because that was the same year that I had just gotten married. I had moved away from all my family and friends. I moved to Texas. It was incredibly depressing. I felt like I was just this broken person. Being in this hospital bed, I told myself, okay, this is it. If I can somehow walk again, I'm never gonna take my body for granted.
Holy crap, dude. Damn. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
All right.
She lost 70 pounds in 7 months. She's a holistic weight loss coach, certified nutritionist, and a personal trainer. My guest, Amanda.
I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled to talk about this.
I'm excited. Your story's crazy.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, literally. Take me on that journey. 70 pounds. How do you mentally get ready for that? Because, you know, we all out here living our best life, eating whatever we want, living good, you know? I'm actually living really good right now.
Ooh, love it.
But I do want to start losing weight because I know it's a healthy lifestyle that I want to live.
Yeah.
Not a scary, full of, you know, illnesses and stuff like that and feeling tired all the time. I want to live a healthy lifestyle. So take me on that journey. How was that? How did you get mentally prepared?
In order for me to give you that answer, I think I have to tell you my story. I wouldn't have been able to figure out that answer if I didn't go through what I've been through.
Yeah.
It's not a fairy tale weight loss story where the girl loses weight and lives happily ever after. My story is a story of failure, a story of pain, a story of struggle. But I hope that at the end of my story, you'll see why I'm so grateful that I went through what I went through.
Yeah.
We'll just start with me being paralyzed in a hospital bed.
Wow.
I ended up paralyzed all along the left side of my body from my head to my toes. And this was after having had a really bad seizure where I fell and I hit my head. I got diagnosed with epilepsy in 2014. I was only 19, and it was really difficult for me because that was the same year that I had just gotten married. I had moved away from all my family and friends. I moved to Texas, and it was incredibly depressing because I felt like I was grieving my old life. Before the diagnosis, before being married, I was a dancer. I was a college student. I felt very in tune with my body, and my body was very important to me and what I did to express myself. And after my diagnosis, I felt like I couldn't do that, right? I felt like I was just this broken person. And you really do more in your old life when you're hit with such a huge diagnosis. And so fast forward, me being in this hospital bed, I told myself, I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, if I can somehow walk again, because they told me, girl, you're not going to be able to walk again. But I told myself, if I can,
it's crazy.
I'm never going to take my body for granted. And miraculously, I had this amazing chiropractor who helped me get on my feet again. When I got on my feet, finally, my husband at the time was like, hey, I'm going to do this bodybuilding competition. Do you want to do it with me?
Oh.
And I was like, bro, that's kind of wild. Like, do you not see my like fat self? Like that's crazy. It's in 7 months. Like, I'm chunky. Like, this is not going to happen. But there was something that called me to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Told my family and friends, and they were like, you're crazy. Like, are you sure, Mandy? Are you sure?
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to do it. I went so hard and I was so strict. My whole life revolved around getting ready for this competition. And 7 months later, I stepped on stage. They called out 4th place. They called out 3rd place. They called out 2nd place. And they hadn't called my name yet.
No.
And I was like, oh my God.
It's good happening.
Wait a minute. Maybe she's in the bathroom. Like, is she not here? And then they called my name. And I was like, y'all are wrong. Y'all are tripping. Like, you called the wrong name. Like, that's not me. And they called my name out. I walked on that stage and I waved around, like, really like awkward and uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, I just won 1st place in my first competition. And 7 months ago, I was paralyzed in the hospital.
Wow.
And I thought, like, as you're thinking right now, probably those who are listening and you right now, wow, she did it. She's amazing. But that wasn't the end of my story.
Ooh,
that was not the end. That was the beginning
yes.
of my story. soon I found myself gaining a following on social media. I was praised for how amazing I looked. I had these crazy abs and I had the booty and I was taking all these pictures and I was getting these brand deals and just my life started blowing up and I started my business and I started coaching people and everything was amazing and it was this whole fairy tale story. But what people didn't realize that, you know, on the outside, everything was amazing, but on the inside, I wasn't. I was still really struggling with this internal rift. I was still struggling intensely with the fact that I never really overcame a binge eating disorder that got me in the hospital bed in the first place.
So you changed the outside.
Yeah.
But the inside still needed work.
Yeah, because 7 months is not enough time for you to catch up with how much you've changed.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not. And so the change was not permanent. And then my approach to that change was so intense. It was not sustainable at all. Yeah. And I tried using the same tactics that I used to lose the weight to maintain my physique. But I was miserable. Yeah. I was so obsessed with calories. I was so obsessed with everything I ate. I would freak out if I ate like a little too much sweet potato, like God forbid, like such a healthy food to eat. The thing that had got me to obesity in the first place was a binge eating disorder. And that never got healed. That never got handled. I just became incredibly hyper focused on the bodybuilding competition. And so I never really knew how to actually eat food normally. And not only that, but there was a rift in the relationship that occurred.
And your relationship with
my relationship with my husband at the time.
Okay.
I entered this place where, you know, on the outside on social media, we looked super happy. Everything was all together. My life was all together. And so many people were like, girl, I admire you and I want your life. But they had no idea that I was falling apart inside.
Yeah.
My marriage wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with myself. I didn't love myself the way that I had projected that I had. I was very inauthentic and that was killing me. I'm going to cry right now. Just thinking about
dude, it's okay.
But it killed me inside. And, you know, 2020 hit and the world started turning upside down. And my marriage turned upside down at the same time. And I decided to make a huge decision and I left. I left everything I knew in Texas for 6 years, all my friends and the network that I had built. And I disappeared from social media because I felt like I needed to discover who I was in this new body, in this new identity.
Do you think it was a little bit of a imposter syndrome?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was all the way.
Yeah, my subconscious was like,
who is this?
Who are you? And who do you think you are? Like, so yeah, absolutely. You're so right. And I love that you mentioned that because imposter syndrome was probably my greatest downfall several times.
And I say that because I had the same thing with me with professional soccer. You know, everybody thinks that when you get to a place, that's it. This is going to make me happy.
Like your dreams are done right there and everything will be golden from now on.
And somebody said, I forgot who said it, but they said success would be beautiful if it only lasted 2 minutes. And then you died. That would be the best. But in reality, you still got to wake up the next day and deal with whoever you just made.
I came to Utah and I tried to rebuild my life. But unfortunately, my life kind of caught up with me. The extremes of bodybuilding hurt my hormones so bad. It screwed up my thyroid. I found myself incredibly depressed. Obviously, divorce is depressing for anyone.
Yeah.
And so what did I turn to? I turned to food.
Yeah.
Food was my best friend.
I feel like you turn into what you know and you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. You know? Like I couldn't do drugs. I couldn't do anything else.
Because that wasn't your thing.
No.
Food was your drug.
Food was my drug. Yes. And so I turned right back into that binge eater. And I had a thyroid issue on top of that. So I blew up fast. Like it was actually shocking. Yeah. Like how much I blew up in just like a few months.
This episode is brought to you by the one and only Hoodie Jer. Bro's doing a lot for the city, pushing the rap culture, and frankly, one of the only rappers who's really putting his money where his mouth is. He's co-owner of Mike Masters 801, doing a bunch of fundraisers for schools with backpacks and everything for the kids. He got an album coming out in June called Good, Bad, and the Ugly Project, so look out for that. But yeah, he's helping out the show, he's showing love, and that means the world to me. So go check him out right here. And yeah, back to the program. Do you think the culture is doing a good job with giving good advice? You know, when we talk about famous people, someone like Lizzo, right?
Oh, yeah.
All she says is love yourself, like even if you're big. But I feel like we need to teach him, how do you love yourself?
Ooh, that's fun.
You know what I
That
mean?
you say that. Yep, absolutely.
Because anybody can say, oh, love yourself, take care of yourself. But
Yeah.
how do you do that?
It's interesting you bring that up because in that moment, a lot of people were like, oh, you're still beautiful though. You're still like this. You're still that. You're still Amanda. Your worth is not defined by your looks. And they're absolutely right. But why wasn't I happy still? And of course, maybe it was a little bit of wishing I still had the praise and all the the glamour. But I knew that deep down it was because I really wasn't taking care of myself in a loving way. It's different that when you're like a little thicker and you're genuinely like, you take care of yourself, then hell yeah, like don't worry about the haters. But if you know that deep down subconsciously you're eating to cope, or you're avoiding the gym out of anxiety, or you're not practicing self-care because you're either too stressed, you're too overwhelmed, you're too depressed, like that's not something we're going to condone and support.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be.
So right after you had, that life-changing experience, you
Yeah.
went down, got right back into eating bad. That affected you again the same way that it affected you the first time.
Yeah.
That's when you decided that it wasn't just a change. You needed to build a lifestyle out of this.
Exactly. Yes. Because I was like, okay, the old method didn't work. And it's not working. So what do I have to do? And I remember a specific day, my friend was like, girl, you live in Utah. Like, I know you're depressed, so just go outside.
Go hiking.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it was just turning like into spring when I had this idea. And I was like, I'm just going to I lived right next to Slate Canyon in Provo.
Oh, dang, you're lucky.
I live right next to it. So I was like, I'm gonna just go walk the Bonneville Trail.
Just go walk.
Took my sister's hound dog and just walked that trail. One time I went up there and I tried to go to see the sunrise. And when the sun was rising, I just had this idea to sit down. And I don't know why, but this like inner voice asked me a question. It was like, Amanda, who do you want to be and why does that matter? And the answer that came to my mind was like, I want to be someone who's lived to tell the tale and becomes a guide because of it. I want to prove to people that you do have power. If I don't overcome this, then it's a really depressing fact that you can't overcome these kind of things. And I wanted to prove to myself and to others. And all of a sudden I got hit with this sense of duty that like, oh my God, this is going to be my life's project. Me fixing myself is my obligation to the world. It's not just about me. It's about getting through this so that I can teach others how to do it. And so I got really determined. I started looking into how to educate myself. This is when I started my education to become a nutritionist and then recertifying as a personal trainer.
It became your purpose.
Exactly. And it hit me really hard. And so I became not obsessed with having abs, not obsessed with looking perfect, not obsessed with the followers I had, but I was obsessed with healing.
Feeling good. Yeah,
so I built my morning routine around it. I built my whole daily schedule around it. I didn't have a lot of time because I was working a full-time job, recently divorced. I had to pay the bills, but that didn't matter to me. My intention was so important to me and I wanted to do it right this time around. So this time around, I let myself enjoy the tamales with my family. I let myself go on dates and eat at the dates. I let myself have pizza with my girlfriends. I went out for drinks with my friends. Like I didn't restrict this time. Instead, I just continued to focus on the purpose of healing. And healing looked like daily meditation. It looked like daily journaling. It looked like eating holistic, nutritious foods that were going to support my brain chemistry and my nervous system and understanding how all of those pieces fit together so that I can sustain this weight loss. And then guess what? I did it. I gave myself another 7-month timeline and I did it again.
Wow.
It was beautiful because this time I did it and it was so much more enjoyable. My blood work now is so much better than my blood work when I was a bodybuilder.
Really?
Yes. My hormones are so much better. I've repaired my thyroid, but I feel that most importantly, I love myself. And like, not in like, oh girl, she all about herself. Like she's vain, but like genuinely.
No, when you're alone in a room, looking at yourself at a mirror.
I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
And nobody's around, dude. That's when it really counts. Do you love yourself right now? Not when everybody's telling you to love yourself.
Yes. And I know that there's probably a lot of people that are going to listen to this and they don't feel that way. And I've been there. I've really been there.
What would you tell somebody that is going through that right now and needs that certain motivation to really push and get to where you are at, what would be the first step?
I think the first step is writing down 2 things: why you need to change and why not changing will hurt you and your loved ones.
Yeah,
I think that's
true.
the biggest thing.
I love how you say it's not about why do I need to lose weight. It's why do I need to change? Because it's not about just losing the weight. It's about changing your whole self.
Yes.
That character you build in a negative way. But it's not a negative way. It's just an experience. Like you did something that you didn't like. That's it. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And do something that you like.
Right.
You know?
And I think you have to come from a place of kindness.
It's true. Because you don't want to be negative to yourself either. Because you want to be actually your best friend. You're going to go to sleep with this person.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You got to spend the rest of your life with this person. You better have a good relationship with them.
If you could go back in time, young Amanda, what would you tell her?
I had a poor relationship with my father. It was kind of an emotionally abusive childhood. And so I had really poor self-image, and I had kind of a toxic relationship with men for a long time. Having those daddy issues really negatively impacted my life. Understanding that I have ADHD also would have been nice to know back then. So there's a lot of those things that I feel like I could go back in time and maybe I would followed a straighter path and not have fallen so many times and made so many mistakes and been an idiot. But, if I could tell her one thing, stop caring about what other people think. Their opinion it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's the biggest one. All of my failures and self-sabotages and embarrassing things from my past, it was all about because I valued others' opinions over mine. And I was a people pleaser, which is also a common tribute of most binge eaters. Yeah, people pleasing. I wish I could have told little Amanda to never be a people pleaser and to stand up for what I knew was right, despite what others were telling me or pressuring me to do.
Amanda, it's been a great time.
This has been fun. I feel like we can talk forever and ever. This is so good.
You're helping the people, literally helping people.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying my best. They're big shoes to fill. To be the weight loss coach that has all the answers. But man. I think it's best to just have all the intentions and always be learning, always be growing. And my clients, I learn from them as much as they learn from me. And I'm just... I get emotional every single time I talk about it, but I'm so grateful I went through hell so that other people don't have to. I'm really grateful. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be on this.
Thank you.
It
means a lot.
Thank you.
And to you guys, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with us right now, learning about nutrition, learning about being healthy, being a good person. With me, the host, Maikon, and your guest, Amanda. And like I always say, guys, please stop cheating on your girl, guys. Stop cheating. You got to stop cheating.
Yeah, stop cheating. You heard him.
There's a lot of cheating going on, Amanda. It's bad. Really bad. It's bad. 2023, we need to make a change, We
really do. Love yourself.
Yes.
When you love yourself, you don't cheat. That's all I'm going to say.
Praise the Lord. Wow.
Just saying.
It's a fact, yo. Love yourself and stay alive. Peace out.
Peace out. Oh my God.
You're awesome. So good. Oh,
how's your back? So that's what I was worried about.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I didn't want to do that.